What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Well, if you think this video is fire, hit that like button and do consider subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate it. Now let's take a look at what's going on under the hood or behind the cabinet of the AVP project. So I'm still using the stock 12 volt power supply. These wires come up, and before we go into the primary side of the transformer, I'm breaking out the L1 over to the switch that's mounted onto the control panel. So we're making a break in that L1, which is effectively killing the entire cabinet. You see that connection right there. Quick connect, obviously, in case we want to remove the control panel for any reason. So we've got two things that require 12 volt power. So once we make it up to the transformer, we come back off the transformer terminals and we go into this two-way connector. That's going to give us power to the actual LCD control board, and we're going to have power going up to our lit marquee. This is a standard Arcade1up lit marquee, requires 12 volts. And that's going to take care of everything that requires 12 volts. Now let's take another look at the secondary side of the transformer, everything that's going to require 5 volts. So we've got two things that require 5 volts. One is going to be the micro USB connection on the back of the home arcade board. So that's what this wire is here. And then the other one is going to be a audio amp, 5 watts, that requires 5 volts of power. Alright, so that's going to do it for the power. Now let's take a look at the audio, which leaves the LCD control board through this connector here. We're going to run through a potentiometer that I have mounted in your control deck, and we're going to follow that all the way around to the input side of the amplifier, and then we're going to leave the amplifier with these wires here to go up to the stock speakers. And because the control knob on this amp is going to be covered up by that back panel, I'm going to go ahead and max this thing out, and then rely on the potentiometer mounted in the control deck to actually do the fine tuning. Here's a closer look at the three connections for the control board. You've got the power, that's micro USB. You've got the switch, that's the 12 volt side. And then you've got the HDMI cable, which leaves the middle and comes up and plugs in to the top of the LCD control board. Now, because I ran all new wiring, I made it a little bit longer so I could take the back panel and place it on the floor if I ever needed to service the inside for any reason. If you make that too short, that makes it complicated and you have to take the whole arcade off the riser. But by using that transformer, I was able to retain this nice, clean, stock look on the rear. You can't really tell that anything was done. And now when you go into the front, you look at the control deck. I made a few changes here. Obviously, you knew about the second button, the coin button. I added a nice decal for that. It blends in fairly well. The cut for the button also turned out nice. There's a potentiometer for the volume control. Alright, so that's enough talk. Let's go ahead and hit this power switch, step back, and take a look at how this project turned out. And of course, the whole reason you do something like this is for the game selection. There's a lot of good games here. 1944, AVP, obviously, Armored Warrior, Captain Commando, Capcom Sports Club, Cyberbots, another really good game. Darkstalkers, the first one. Eco Fighters, which is, it's not bad. It's not bad. Final Fight, classic. You got to have that one. Ghouls and Ghosts, which is fun but really hard. Giga Wing is also really awesome. It's a nice inclusion. Mega Man, you know, 2-player fighter. Pro Gear, I never even played that before until I got this. That was fun. 1 Street Fighter, not 15. Strider, and then Puzzle Fighter. Now, because this board does have Wi-Fi, it's going to allow you to take advantage of things like leaderboards, do system updates, check your Wi-Fi settings. And there's other settings in here also. Something as simple as the I/O check is actually pretty cool and very useful. Also, you've got some resolution settings here. You can change between 3 different settings. I usually go with widescreen. And there's some pretty cool effects. You can go with bezels. You can simulate a CRT. But no matter what display setting you go with, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to see 100% of the image. You can see at the very bottom it's kind of cropped, so you can't see all of your enemy's health bar. But it really wasn't distracting for me. Everything up top is in frame and looks correct. The image isn't stretched out, so it's something I can live with, but it's not perfect. Alright, so there you have it. The Alien vs. Predator Arcade1up project is complete. I absolutely love the way it turned out. And when I set out to do this project, I wanted to do it in a way that people could easily follow along and replicate at home. So taking the guts out of this and putting it into this, for that reason, worked out great. There are just a couple things I think I want to change on this. That 5-watt amp just doesn't quite get loud enough to my liking, so I'm going to swap that out with like a 15-watt unit, but That's going to require 12 volts instead of 5 volts. And that side of the transformer is already kind of tapped out, so I need to rethink that. And then also this kick plate down here is just black, and it looks good, but I think I need to do something down there. I don't know if I want to print out all the games lists and have that on there to sort of mimic the 3rd generation Arcade1ups, or maybe do a fake coin door. I don't know. Why don't you let me know down in the comment section what you think I should do. And while you're down in the comment section, let me know your overall thoughts of the project. What do you want to see me tackle next? Y'all have a blessed day, and I will see you next time.